Hey guys, welcome back to We Watched a Movie, and we are Men of Steel.
It's time! Finally!
Sexualness is here. He's flying in. He's here.
We're straight.
He's actually, it's like a capture call. He's like coming in, but we've frozen him in kryptonite.
Is he coming in?
Ooh.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah.
This is a reimagining, re-envisioning, re-fucking negotiation on Man of Steel. They wanted to update and bring him 21st century, so they gave him a plot line that was a little bit more fresh, a little bit different.
Nolanized
a little bit of his thumbprint. It's Nolan's thumbnail. but yeah, so basically, Russell Crowe plays Jor-El, sends Kal-El, Superman, to Earth from the doomed planet Krypton. Zod, who was once the great protector of Krypton, goes to Earth to find Kal-El because he wants to take over the world, and they have epic fights, and that's the end of the story. And Kal-El lives in Kansas, and he's raised by normal human beings, and he's raised with values.
You know, so I mean, you got the origin story, and then you got the fight with Zod. I mean, that's basically what this movie is. The only fear I had was Henry Cavill, because I never liked him in anything else he was in. But he is Superman. He's perfect.
No doubt.
He looks right. He acts right. Other than the Clark Kent part of Superman, he's got a real, like, straight, like, just normal personality, so that kind of fits with Cavill.
They wanted to give Superman, like, an edgier kind of feel to him, an edgier kind of tone than what we're used to seeing with the Reeve portrayal of him.
Yeah.
And it worked for it. Because if anything, Man of Steel is the 21st century portrayal of Superman.
Yeah.
You've got to give him that edge. You've got to give him that new look. You've got to give him that, like, a sleek kind of thing. Yeah. And they did it well. And I've never seen a movie where it's just Superman. It's just basically Superman and how he reacts to things going on. It's not Clark Kent. It's actually just Superman, which is good because it shows his...
I was worried about that, but I liked what they did with
But you know what? Cavill, for me, I watched The Tudors. Mike had never seen, but The Tudors on HBO, and he played the best friend of James Reese Davis, and I thought he was a great actor then, but he'd been in a couple turds, I mean, a couple stinky ones, so no one knew. But he's able to show range, and the way he portrays and conveys emotion when he's screaming and stuff and getting pissed off, I'm like, that is great. Like,
yeah, it totally works. I mean, it works. You feel like that's Superman screaming. So the acting from top to the bottom, it's top notch. I'll go with the negative right away because this movie's getting bashed, and that is completely not fair. I mean, I'm okay. I mean, I don't hate anybody for if you hate the movie, you hate the movie. That's cool. I respect everybody's opinions when it comes to movies, unless it's just stupid. Like one guy on Rotten Tomatoes was like, I didn't like the romance. There wasn't enough romance. I'm like, dude, it's freaking Superman. Shut up.
I get his idea. Like for traditionalists, there was a little bit of a downplay on Lois Lane and Clark Kent and Superman kind of thing every once in a while, but they did enough with it where you get their lovers or they're going to be or whatever. I think the thing is that Lois Lane has always been to Superman, and what this guy was probably trying to say is that Superman needed an anchor, something to anchor him to Earth, but I think that humanity in its scope and its whole, like how he cares about everybody, and I think if anything, his dad, his Jonathan Kent, his Earth dad was his anchor, was the one that taught him how to be a certain kind of man and be Superman.
And the romance between them didn't bother me at all, and I thought, for talking about Amy Adams, I thought she was great.
Yeah.
She's ridiculously hot,
she was.
And I thought she was great. And she's
do it on me.
Yeah, so I thought
sit on my face.
I thought she was great. The romance between them didn't bother me. It was quick. They had to kind of smudge it in there real quick. But look at the scope of everything you've got to cover in this movie. If they'd have done the Thor thing and spent all this time on this relationship rather than the other stuff, it would have taken away from the movie. And here's
Thor's a good movie though. So.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I'm going to go into the negatives real quick. Just knock those out of the way. The only negative in this movie and kind of disappointment for me was Michael Shannon. I never thought I would say that.
Yeah, Michael Shannon, it wasn't that he didn't show emotion well, like, you know, we talk about conveying emotions and how well Henry Cavill did. He did that well when he was pissed off and mad and showing how angry he was, but sometimes he would deliver lines that were kind of corny. It just didn't come across as, like, threatening, or it just was kind of like mundane. Like, you know, there's one scene when he walks in and disbands the council on Krypton, and they're like, on whose authority? It's like, on mine. Zip. He was just like so anticlimactic. Everything's going on around him, and he just doesn't care. It's like,
the reason it's so disappointing, if some no-name had done it, it would have been so disappointing. But because it's Michael Shannon, he was what I was most excited about with this movie. I think it was more along the lines that his character wasn't written that well. He didn't have that much epicness that you expect from an actor like Michael Shannon. Like, he was serviceable, he was fine, but because it's Michael Shannon, you wanted so much more. And plus, his look was kind of dorky and magooish.
Yeah, you know.
He had like that bowl cut thing going on.
Still, that's like saying in the USA Dream Team, like I mentioned Mike earlier, it's like saying Karl Malone sucked. It's just like everybody's so great, but you know, just saying, oh, he's not as good, but it's still not that bad. Yeah. For me, that was one issue with Michael Shannon, but another issue, the whole Clark Kent, Lois Lane angle that they played in it, I mean, the way they try to reimagine it and redo it, I just wasn't a fan of it. It didn't hurt it necessarily. I mean, I'm a traditionalist in a way, but I'm not a traditionalist like I'm going to be anchored by it. They had to update it. They had to do something different and fresh to keep it new. So I didn't mind it that much, but it hurt a little bit, just a little tiny bit.
That part didn't mind me. I actually like the relationship.
It hurt my butt a little bit,
but you're not the only one on that. So that's negatives out of the way. Now that we're done with that part of it, I'm going to tell you, this movie, I'm just going to say it. these are the best special effects I've ever seen in a film. I might get railroaded for that.
No,
but I
tell the
can't.
truth. If anything, the special effects may not be like nothing you've seen before, because you might have seen some, but the way they used them, the way they utilized them, I've never seen shit
Like constant, dude, just constant barrages and shit.
I know.
Like you remember, it's a lot like the Avengers when you get to the fight scenes because it's in this big city,
Yeah.
and you've got this large scope
Epic
of stuff
fucking
going
fights,
on.
yeah.
But it blows my mind how they actually captured what it would be like if someone with the powers of Superman was in the middle of a city fighting with someone with almost equal power to him. Like just the epicness and just the grandiose scale that was on was amazing. And
it was like witnessing Beethoven's Fifth.
Yeah, and there's a lot of and the 3D's decent. There's nothing coming at your face. There's nothing coming at your face.
I don't want to be in that theater.
But there's nothing shooting out at your face. But it's one of those. It's got the.
You said shooting.
It's got the scope, like it's the depth and the way, like when they're flying around the big city or whatever. It looks awesome. So it's worth seeing in 3D, but you don't have to.
On a scale, epic scale, it matches everything you could possibly want in a Superman movie. Mm-hmm. There's a scene where he's flying and the way the camera zooms in and they're just showing how he pulls back his arm and is beating the shit out of General Zod. I'm like, holy fuck.
Dude, it's like my jaw was on the floor for a lot of this
Amazing.
movie. And that's the best part about this movie is that they don't skimp on the action. A lot of people are giving this movie shit because of the choppiness, the way the story was played, because they'll jump around a little bit. That didn't bother me. I could easily follow this story. It was very easy to follow. And you know what? It worked out because they shorted some of the story, some of the origin, threw it in here and there. But what that left them with an hour and 20 minutes of this movie that they could use just for epic fucking fight scenes.
Yeah, and
that were amazing.
And I think Nolan and Snyder were smart on that. They were like, you know what, the origin stories has been done. It's been done well enough to where we don't have to dedicate 45 minutes at the very beginning of the movie just to nothing but origin. You know, they would do flashbacks every so often.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that because it works because Christopher Reeve already did a great origin story, so you don't have to fuck with that too much.
I mean, what do you want? Do you want them to do the same thing with every other superhero movie? Like, this is the origin, this is how it happened. The villain comes in with like 40 minutes left to go in the movie, maybe, and then you've got the whole wrap-up. So you don't have time for that epic battle. In this movie, it's all about the epic battle between Superman and Zod, and you're just constantly like, it's not over yet. Holy shit, it's not over yet. They're fighting again. Like, it's amazing.
But I don't want people to get the wrong picture. I mean, we're talking about the special effects are so awesome. I don't want people to think, oh, it's just like a Transformers special effects great movie with a shitty story. The story's actually really good.
Yeah.
And the way the characters portray, the way the actors portray the characters and the way they interact with each other is really, really well done. And you actually find yourself caring at the end. You actually start relating to Superman, which is hard for you to do. You actually start saying, I can get how this is now.
And it was just a fun movie to watch. The end of this movie, when the culmination of Superman versus Zod happens, it was just like, oh, that was perfect. But that was so perfect. I can't stand it. I want to cry. I want to fart, and I want to run away.
Near the end, with the actual final showdown with Zod and him, were friggin' off the charts amazing.
It's absolutely insane.
So I'm going to go ahead and give my rating.
Go.
Slap it in your face and
call
me. 9.5.
9.5 for me too, man.
Yeah.
It was
almost there.
This is my second favorite superhero movie of all time. The first one being the Avengers.
Mine too.
So, you know, what else can you say about it, guys? The question of the day that I have for you is, what did you guys think of Man of Steel? Go ahead and comment below and let us know. And let's do that. What's your top 3 superhero movies of all of them now that Man of Steel's been introduced? Let us know.
And do you think we're alone in the universe?
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie.